Hello, hello. Good to see you all once again. Happy weekend. Yeah. I hope it's going to be a happy weekend for us all. So today we are going to be having something simple, not really complicated. So just like last week, we are going to go over what we've learned. Then each person will then go through everything I sent to the group yesterday. Just to confirm before we move on, did everyone see what I dropped on the group yesterday? Can everyone hear me?
Yes,
All right. Are you saying yes to my question?
yes, I can hear
Okay.
you, and yes, I saw what you dropped yesterday.
All right. All right. Thank you. So that is the format we are going to take in presenting today. I hope everyone has their data set already. So just go through that process that I highlighted. So that's just what we're doing today. But before that, I want to take us through one or two things. So the first thing I want to talk about is the feedback form. Some people did not fill the feedback form last week. So please, whenever we send the feedback form, please kindly ensure that you fill it before we leave the call. So please kindly ensure you fill it before we call. That's the first part. Then the other part is okay, the class hour starts between 9 now and 12. Like I said during the first meeting, if we finish in time, there is no need for us to make use of the 3 hours. The 3 hours window is so that by the time we are presenting, because it will get to a point where we are going to be, doing our projects, creating our dashboards, and everyone has to present. And because you have presented your own does not mean that you have to leave the call. Just as people would provide feedback for you, you also have to provide feedback for others. So that's how it's going to work when we get to that point. We're going to have sessions where people will present, we get feedbacks from everyone, not only me. Everyone will give feedback to whatever it is that everyone had presented. Then everyone will then go through the process of presentation. At some point, we're going to have groups. So it's not every time that each person will present. At some point, it's going to be group presentations. So the feedback will just be based on groups. So you will notice that that means we have shorter time when it's group presentations, but we would have longer time when we have personal presentations. So that's just how it works. So the 3 hours is just to ensure that we block that time on our calendar. But if we are able to finish everything we want to do in 1 hour, there's no need for us to hold everyone's around. So everyone can go to everything they want to do for the weekend. So it's just like plus 2 hours already. But the time that we need to make use of all of the 3 hours, we definitely make use of all the 3 hours. So I'm saying this because there's one of the feedbacks that we got was that we are using more than the allocated time. So we wanted to clarify that the time block for the class is 3 hours. I think I mentioned that during the first session we had, that the time block is 3 hours. It was between 8 and 11 before, now it's 9 to 12. So the hope is that we are able to finish in time. So that's why we are starting early. We're not waiting for anybody. We're starting early so that we can finish early. So if we finish everything we want to do in 1 hour, there's no need for us to wait. So that's just it. I don't know if anyone wants to say that. Do we have any feedback to that? Okay, in the absence of feedback, I think we can now move on. So we have to go through what we did last week, which was for us to go to the whiteboard. So I'm going to share our whiteboard now. So please kindly join the whiteboard and we are going to start collaboration. So please join the whiteboard. So like we did last week, please unmute whilst we do this. So today we are going to be talking about medical functions. Whiteboard. Basic class. And lookup function. So I think these are the major ones that I mentioned on the video. So that's what we want to first discuss in a few minutes. I hope we're able to do this in 2 minutes max. So we need to try this. All right, so I'll call names. So it's just for you to tell us what you understand by what I have on from the video you watched. So you let us know what you understand. So when we are done, then everyone can ask. Okay, before we start, does anyone have any question about the video? Please kindly unmute. Does anyone ask any question about the video?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right, let's have it.
Oh, it's about what you're about to like explain. The other part, like the later part of the video was kind of I cannot say it was not self-explanatory, but at the same time I got confused. Like
Okay,
why
which part?
from the other part of the pyramid.
Okay, is it the pyramid part or
Yeah.
the Excel part? You know, there are two videos.
I only saw one.
One,
Yes.
there are two videos on that link. Check the link.
Okay.
Anyone, any other person saw one?
Yes, I think I watched the first one also.
What of the second one?
I don't know.
There are two links. Another person saw only one video. There were two links. That was what I said for this week's videos. See the links below.
Oh,
I sent two links, not one. I sent two links, not one. So, well, it's a learning process. So this is another learning for us. One of the major things, and it's not only to, or it happens a lot of time. With time, we get to learn it. It's more about sometimes we assume, right? Yeah. Sometimes we assume based on what we see, accustomed to. So that makes us assume at times. So in itself, it's not really bad, but there are some times that assumption would make you do something. It would not be very, 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 very good. Like, yeah, because I know how people are feeling now. Be able to fuck up. I know that's basically what most people will be feeling now. But then it's nothing big. Just that it's going to impact the level of participation today, right? So please, going forward, kindly ensure that you pay more attention to right as I say. You know, sometimes I'm typing whilst I'm doing some other things, so I might not say the full thing at times. So please just pay attention. It's nothing big actually, but please for other communications, just please ensure that we are good to go. All right. So, Princess, what is your question about the pyramid principle? So let's start with that. And I can just go through the question.
Not like I said, not like I have a question, but I don't really understand it.
Okay. So does anyone have that question also?
Yeah.
Okay, Shakira, you have the same question.
Yes.
Wow. What of Ada? Do you have the same question?
Please, I didn't get that question.
She said the latter part of that by pyramid video that she didn't understand. And Shakira said she also did not understand.
Okay, I understood it.
Okay, thank you. That's why I'm not saying that you are better than everyone. No. Like I wanted you to teach us. I wanted like so it's like not that I'm like putting you on the spot. So it's like now I have tried to explain from my end, right? And people are not getting. So I just wanted another voice that will like kind of bring in an external perspective to what I've said. So that's just it. So I just wanted to like take us through what you understand by the pyramid principle. You can use the whiteboard. You can do anything you want to do. Can you do that?
Okay, I'm not sure I'll be able to use the whiteboard because I'm trying to also use my system to connect, but I'm also on my phone connected. I'm trying to connect with my system. But
All
I
right.
don't know if you can maybe draw that pyramid for us to, so I can just quickly use the pyramid to explain. Or if you can
Okay.
import that pyramid.
All right. Let me draw it like this. Does it make sense? All right. I'm coming. Let me try to let me do something also. Let me try to get the pyramid out. Let me see if I can paste. Can I paste? Um, let me try if I can paste the pyramid. Yes. Oh, wow. I was able to paste. Can everyone see the pyramid down? Ada, can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So can I go ahead?
Yes,
Hmm.
you can.
God, I beg. Oh, okay. So I'll explain to the best of my knowledge. Oh, please.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, oh, but you can
just
give me
do
feedback.
just do whatever it is you want to do. You
Okay, so
have-
from the first expla okay, so I'll just do like a recap from the first part. So before we get down to the later part. So he explained that before you start analyzing your data, or when you analyze, there are some questions that you want to ask, and that is what we call the overarching question or hypothesis question. That is where the yellow part of the pyramid comes in. Please, can you put your box at the yellow part of the pyramid? That is where your overarching question is being placed, right? And he said that can be a very generic question. It can be a broad question. And it just depends on the kind of objective you are trying to achieve. So that is like your broad question. So those broad questions now can be broken down into specific question. But kindly know that those specific questions, which are also called sub questions or sub hypotheses, should not overlap in a sense that, okay, maybe we are looking at from the video, we're looking at, let me use the margarine, a margarine brand, right? So they wanted to know customers if they want to increase the price of that margarine. So now the question was, can they increase the price for the current margin? For example, maybe the current margin is 2,000 naira. They are looking at whether they can increase it to 5,000 naira. Now, that was the overarching question. So now there are specific questions to that for us to achieve this overarching question. So that is where you break down your hypothesis, you break down your overarching question. That is the one in the question in the yellow box. You break it down to those sub questions. He's putting sub question 1, sub question 2, sub question 3. Kindly know that every sub question now should not overlap. When they mean overlap now, it should not address the same thing. It should address different things, but they are still aiming at the goal. They are still aiming at, okay, should we increase our margarine products? Should we increase the price of this margarine? Now, that is where the sub question 1, 2, and 3 comes in. So, for example, I'm giving an example. In sub question 1, they want to know that do people actually even know the prices of this margarine? For example, that is sub question 1. Right? Maybe my sub question 2 now can now be um what kind of price, what kind of brand do customers buy when it comes to margarine? Now, this the first one was talking about question price, the other one is talking about brand. Just for you to be sure that people are actually even purchasing your products, right? Then the sub question three can be a total different thing. But the question, all what we are trying to do is achieve the overarching question. So now for you to now achieve this your sub question, that is where your data now comes in, the kind of data you're collecting, probably the questionnaires, your tools you're using, whatever you're using to collect that question. That is where you now put your data in all of them. So now you can see for sub question 1, for example, there is data 1, data 2 under sub question 1 and sub question 2. So those data 1, data 2, they are addressing sub question 1, applicable to sub question 2, sub question 3. So those data are addressing specific sub questions. Now, and he mentioned that when you're talking about when you're doing this, there is something that they call downflow and upflow. So this particular part of the what I just explained is what we call the downflow. That we started from the overarching question down to the sub question down to the data. Please, can you draw that your side arrow that is going down?
Okay.
Please, do we have any question at this point before I go to the I think the ending part of that video? Please, if you have question, you can ask. So in case I cannot answer, our facilitator will answer it for us. Please, any question?
Okay. I think there's no question on that. Okay. Yeah, let's go to
Okay.
the other one. Yeah.
All right. So now, by the time you answered, by the time you
Recording in progress.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So by the time you're able to get all of this information and answer these questions or bring out your questions, your hypotheses, sub hypotheses, and your data. Now we're not going to do like we're going to now do like going back up. There will be an arrow going back up, which it means that the information we get from the data, which are now called results, right? So is there another table that you can do our results thing? Maybe copy and paste and put the results.
Okay, let me start another one. That's thank you. You're absolutely doing well, even better than me, better than I did.
No,
Yeah, to be honest, you're hitting all the right buttons. You're definitely hitting all the right buttons. All right, so let's start.
so now by the time we've achieved this downflow, whereby we've done the overarching questions, done our sub questions, and gotten our data for us to answer those sub questions to achieve the overarching. Sorry, can you?
Is anyone saying anything? Are you, is anyone asking a question? Right, I think the person just submitted, right?
Okay, so that first pyramid that the arrow is going down, that is our first pyramid that the arrow, then the other one he's drawing is the pyramid our arrow is going up. Now, that data, because we've collected the data, analyzed the data, we already have results for those data, right? So under those boxes is no longer going to be data, it's going to now be results. So those results are going to speak into our sub questions. So for example, like I used the Madrid question, right? And we're like, okay, that's from the data we got concerning the sub question one that has to do with maybe prices, and the questions the data you collected had to do with maybe if people actually even know the prices of the margarine they buy, or they just buy based on what they need. They don't look at prices. Sorry, they don't look at prices when they project products, right? So maybe in one of your results, you were able to come up with, okay, 10% of consumers actually don't look at prices when they buy products. Now, they're already giving us 10%. That means the 90% look at prices before they buy, right? So those are results from our data analyzed. So that will now give more insights to our sub question. So now we don't call it sub question anymore. We turn it to a statement. So when your pyramid is going up, is no longer called questions. They're now called statements, sub-statements, hypothesis statements, yeah, or overarching statement. That is the yellow one. But we are still on the results. So on the results now, your analyzed data are now being interpreted into results based on what you've analyzed. So if one of your analysis comes up with for example, like I mentioned, 10% of my only consumers don't check prices. They just buy because they need it. Why? Maybe 90% they will check to ensure that is affordable or is something they can afford. That is a result. That is what has been analyzed. So now that your result is now going to speak into your sub hypothesis statements. So overall, you can now give it that this my two result is now saying that income, or maybe I know I'm sorry, I'm trying to use that specific Madrid example that you gave. So
Yeah.
now you cannot put it that okay, okay, so yes, so that yellow part that he circled, let me say the second result is now saying that 80% of people that patronize their products are income earners. Now, my statement that these two results can now produce will now be okay. We want to know, like maybe percentage of people or people that want to know the amount of income earners that patronize our Blue Band products. Now, the result was able to give us that insight, but don't forget it has to correlate. You can't be giving a different question, a different hypothesis, and your result is giving a different answer that don't correlate with your hypothesis. So everything has to be, it's just as if no, you've asked a question, then your result is now giving answers to that question. So when you are giving your response to that question, it's no longer in questions. You're now giving a statement based on the outcome of your result. So that is how your results will now give answers to your statement. Then that statement will now give a broader answer which says, that means that perhaps depending on your questions, because I'm very sure if you're able to remember the things he put on the pyramid, you understand what I'm saying. Sorry. Then that overarching statement will now be, that means we can now increase our blue band product from 2,000 naira to 5,000 naira based on what your findings. That means that people don't even know the prices. So even though they go to market tomorrow, they might just know that maybe there was a hike in price because they were not even sure of the previous amount they bought the price of that blue band product. So the later part of the question is just talking about how you convert your data into results and how that result now gives you a clear picture on whether you can maybe do a change depending on what the purpose of your project was, or your the purpose of why you did that survey. So it's just for you to know, okay, should we do this or should we not do that? So I think that was what the data part, that is why he's now saying that the arrow is going up, because now it's like a vice versa. Your result is now going to be the one to shed more light on the insights, which will now give us a decision on the overarching statements. Please, do we have any question?
Any question? The princess. It's a conversation, please. So
Not like she did justice to the explanation.
what do you say? She did justice to it, right?
Yes, like really.
Yeah. So I think we can all unmute and clap her. Please, let's clap for her, please. Let's clap for her. Yeah, please let's unmute and clap for her, please. Enjoy. Thank you. Like, to be honest, I don't think I would have done better. No. I don't think I would have done better. Like, you've killed it. That's the major goal. So the major goal is anybody can churn out 90% of something, right? Anybody that can handle Excel, even normal, what's it called? Pen or pencil and paper can put out numbers. But what like make you distinct as an analyst? What makes your story different from others is how you are able to move along this arrow and to this arrow. When you just churn out numbers, what you are doing is you are moving between this and this. When you just churn out numbers, when you just tell us, oh, 90% of people do this, 20% of people do this, 80% of people do this. The only thing you are doing is you are moving between this data, your data, and results. But if you want your insight, what you want to do, the analysis you have done to make sound sense, reasoning sense, to make to influence policy changes, just move along these arrows. Just move along these arrows. And I don't know if anyone had noticed, from what she's saying, you would definitely notice that two people can actually pick the same data and come up with different results or different insights. Do you like, does everybody get what I've said? Or can someone like kind of explain why I said what I just said? That two people, with what she had explained, two people can actually pick the same data and come up with different insights? Who can like give us an inkling into what could happen or why that can happen?
Yes, that's true. It could happen like if depending on the question they use to get the data. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's dependent on the question that that person had picked. So we might be looking at the same sales data, and my own question is, which customer segments would give me highest revenue? And your own question is, which marketing plan will give you the highest revenue? The same data, different insights. The same data, different insights. So this is not like a boxing kind of thing. It's not like we want to put everybody in one box. It's like we are giving you a tool to use. A tool to use. So you can definitely improve on it going forward. But like for this beginning section, this beginning time, this tool would definitely guide everything you are doing in terms of analysis. Then as you move on, it's already your second nature. Then the next thing is you can improve on it, just like the way I improve on it. So the person who taught me this principle was when I was having a data analysis work with McKinsey. McKinsey is a global consulting brand. And this is what they use. And what they just taught us is this pyramid. I was like, okay, I think we can have by pyramid, right? So they move, there's only this first pyramid that they only use from result up. Was I was the one that added this part that, okay, what if we move from the question down to the data, then from the data up, top to bottom, then bottom to up. So any question? Any question? Any question? Princess, feedback. Shakirat, feedback.
What question
I
for
guess
now?
I understand.
Explanation is
Mm.
Yeah, I think I called two people at the same time. Yeah, I got what Princess said, that she now understands. Was it Shakira that was saying something also?
yes, I said no question now that our explanation is
Yeah,
explanatory. Okay, I get
yes,
it now.
yes, yes. So perfect. So what we are going through today is just the same thing. You're going to pick your data, tell us, okay, on this data, this is the question I want to answer. Then if I'm going to piece out the sub questions from this question, because the major question you want to ask your data might not support it. So your data, if you move from this question to this data, sometimes it will be possible. Sometimes, most times, it will not be possible. So the essence of this sub question is for you to be able to move from your question, which is a very big thing, to something that is more related to your data. So you cannot just go and pick a sub question that is not related to your data. By the time you are picking some questions, it has to be related to your data. So you already know that, okay, these are the data that will give me these questions. So once you have those questions, then you know that, okay, the data, once I analyze the data, it would definitely feed back to those questions. And that's why the result moves to the statement. And for your statement, that's all. So the other part of the video, which most people did not watch, I think someone has not said anything. Tamilore, you've not had your voice.
Yes.
All right. Did you see the videos?
I've not watched this one, the one for today's lectures yet. I've not watched it yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, any reason for that?
Because I'm still trying to catch up on last week's lectures. I'm sorry. Still watching the one from last week.
Okay. What of Ifeoluwa? Can you hear us? Okay. So please, I don't know, but
Sorry, good morning, everybody.
yeah, Ife. So I said, were you able to watch the videos?
Yes, I'm not done. I'm still on it. I'm so sorry.
Well, those excuses, I want us to know that they are not really coming off good to me, because the feedback I'm getting from what you just got, and I noticed that. That's why I sent I sent messages on Thursday, yeah, Thursday, because if everyone had watched the videos, I would know from the analytics. I would know. And on Thursday, I saw that even the last two videos, the last 2 weeks, that's the last two videos, that's last 2 videos. I saw that most people that did not come for the last class did not watch it. And what that means is telling me that you don't value my time. That's what it's. That's the message you're communicating. That's the message. That's the message. And it's not good, actually. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Because if we, it's like compound. We are compounding once anything misses off. And that's why we have that principle of people should not miss classes. Even when we said people should miss 2 classes, from the point that even when you miss classes, you have the videos, actual videos. Even if you're not going to see the video of your class, the videos from the session, the video before the class, they are just 30 minutes, 20 minutes videos. Even if they are going to say, okay, I will watch it in 3 days, you can watch it 5 days. So so the feedback is not really encouraging. So my spirit is already down. That's good. The feedbacks are not encouraging at all. At all. At all. Not encouraging. I have to say the truth. They're not encouraging. They're not encouraging. But then we continue by next class. So the next class is, do we have what do we have? I think it's largely, let's see, let's give me some minutes and to see what we have next week so that I would know if everyone would have time for yeah, just as I was thinking. The next class is career talk, so it's not going to be intensive. So the essence of those career talks is, it's like we are moving through modules and we are thinking about different challenges that people might run into. So because we are having career talk next week, we are going to give everybody the chance to rewatch all of the videos. So nobody would come next week and tell us that I have not seen all of the videos. Please, even for those that missed the link, go and watch all of the videos. So for next week, there's no new video. There's no new video for next week that you need to watch. So please and please, next week, after the career talk session, we're going to have like reminder of all of the videos. So if you have any question on any part or any aspect, we are going to revisit all of those. So please and please and please, it's another avenue, another chance for you to go through all that we've learned and ensure that you are up to date. But going forward, we don't want to hear such feedback as I'm still watching the video or I did not see the video. Even when you don't come to class, at least it shows that you are with us, even when you are not here. That, okay, oh, I know that I have a responsibility somewhere. That's what, if you're able to watch the videos, perfect. You're able to even see the video of the class, more perfect. But the major class sessions, which is the ones we release before the outdated videos, it's very pivotal that you watch the videos. All right, so that said, let's go to the other part, which is the logical function, the lookup functions, and pivot table and the basic formulas. So the other part of the video, which most people did not see, well, that's not a problem. So I was explaining lookup functions, logical functions, pivot table, and basic formula. And the basic thing that we're just trying to do on those is just now we have understood how to generate our insights. We have understood that we need to move from questions to data. But now we need to start getting our toolbox out, start analyzing. So that's what we have started. So in case you are missing the gist, we have already started analyzing. By the next two classes, we'll be building dashboards. Just as we are moving slowly, by the next two classes, we will definitely start building dashboards. So that's how fast and slow we are moving. So it might look slow, but we are not actually moving slow. Just like we are picking the exact things. So when we get to those points, we are just going to fill in what the small things that are needed. So we are not picking small things, we are picking the major things. So please, if you are not catching up, go and catch up. By the next two classes, we'll start to build dashboards. So please, it's very important though, because today is week 4 already. It's 1 month. So now, the lookup function, so let me start with the logical function. So logic function, just like this thing, what we are going to be talking about are things like if. So if a condition is met, oh, so the color is, so if a condition is met, do this. That's just what we are doing there. That's just what the logic function is talking about. If a condition is met, do this. If a condition is met, do this. So that's just what the logical function is all about. So when you use an if statement, so if Ada talks, then write present. That means that whatever it is, if I'm going to write present or not write present, it has to be conditioned on if Ada says something. That's what logical function does. However, that can be taken forward with and or. Where you now say if this and if this, or you say if this or if this. Now you are having two conditions. So if it is and, that means that the two conditions must be met, just like our basic logic gates. True, 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 false, true, true, logic gates. I hope everyone did logic getting basic algebra. True, true. So true, false. We have true, false. False, true. I'm trying to use this to explain, so please kindly work with me and peer with my exercise. And false, false. So when you have two conditions, unlike in the first one, which is just one condition, if this, then do this. That's the first one. Once you want to use this and or, you now have two or more conditions. It might be two or more. It's not compulsory that it's two. But once you are using and or, you have more than one condition. So if I now say, if Ada speaks and if there is a meeting, then do this. You can see that I have mapped two conditions together. So if it is and, then that means that true, true will give me what? True. If it is true, false, what will it give me? If it's a and, I'm saying that there are two conditions, this and this. So if the first condition is true and the second condition is false, will it be true or false in terms of the results? If two conditions are put and between two conditions, if this and if this, so will the outcome be true or false? A question to the house. Will it be true or false? Who wants to say something? Please, it's not how much you are right or wrong, right? Just say something. Unmute or say something now.
If the two conditions are true, then it
Yes.
comes out as true
All
because
right.
it's either true or false. But if the two conditions comes out as true or false, then the final result should be false because it did not meet the two conditions.
Thank you
Maybe.
very much. So the true condition must be true for it to be true if you are using and. The true condition must be true for it to be what? True. So now, false, false, what will it give us? Let me call your name. Princess.
That would be false.
What would it give us? Oh, someone is talking already. Shakirat, right?
Yes, I said it should be false
Why?
because the first response was false and the other response was another false. And but I don't get the question very well.
Yes, you are saying false, false. Yeah, you are correct. So
Okay.
the first question is false, and the second condition is also false. It will be
Okay.
false because it has to be true. The two of them has to be true for us to have a true in and.
Yes. Yes.
But in or, what do we need? We only need one of them to be true for it to be what? True.
False.
So in or means that either one is true or the other one is true. So if I say, oh, if Ajayi Olubunmi is called, or there is a meeting, then do this. So Ajayi Olubunmi, if I have true in one and I have false in the other one, what will be the outcome? Is it going to be true or false?
Please, can you come again with your question?
So now, unlike before, in and, the two has to be true for us to have a true outcome. So if we are given two conditions now, we have said, okay, this is the condition 1 and this is the condition 2. If it is and, both of them has to be true for it to be true. But if it is or, it's only one that needs to be true for it to be true, for us to have pass or for the condition to go. So if we now have true in the first condition and we have false in the second condition, and the logic is or, what will be the outcome?
If at least one of them meet the condition, then it's true.
All right, thank you. So if we have false, what would happen? In or, if we have false, what would happen? If you can you hear us? All right, Tamilore.
Yes.
If we have false for an or gate or condition, what would happen?
If I have false,
False.
okay, and or false, I'm coming, and
Don't forget that we said or in or, just one of them has to be true.
yes,
So
just one of
when we now have false, what will be the outcome?
four. Sorry, or
For or. So what will be the outcome? Is it going to be true or false?
okay, false.
Yeah, it will be false. So yes, let's just take it to data now. So I know that's the hard one, right? So we have 5 here. I'll so that it will be easy. We can all relate. So we are taking it to data because the whole essence of everything we are running now is data 45. So let me give you another number. So Princess, give us another number. Give us a number. Just any number.
13.
13.
23.
33. All right. 33. Who else have I not had their voice? Ife, are you with us? Ife, are you with us? Okay, let me move to another place entirely. Let me try. All right, we have 5, 45, 33. All right. Ife, are you with us? I want to be sure that everybody is with us. Since people are connected but not connected. People are connected but not connected. And that's even all right. Shakirat, give us a number.
26.
All right, 26. So now I'm going to put variable to this number so that it won't look so abstract. So let me put weight here. So let me now, instead of 5, I will now put 45 here. Let me put 45 here. I know. Let me put 87 here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put what variable can I put here, Seth? I already put number before I put variable. Okay. Number of kilometers, number of travels. Yeah, that's a variable. Mind you, variable is just variable. Once it's variable, it's variable. All right. So I want to make use of our conditional statements. our logic functions. And this is true for any dashboard. If you're on Power BI, if you're on Tableau, if you're on Excel, you're going to make use of conditions if you want to analyze your data. And that's why you need to pay attention, not just attention, pay rapt attention to this. So now, let's assume I want to, so my outcome here is, what can it be? People to choose for, so let's assume that you are working for a travel agency. In that travel agency, they collect, so for everybody that book flight with them, they collect data on their weight and the number of travels. Now, they now want to know, okay, who are the people that would reach out to? We want to give some people free flights. So who are the people that we should choose? So now, the first one is if. Well, I want to talk about if now. And in if, I told you that in plain if, that's just one condition, right? So now, what we just want to know in that one condition is if the number of travel is more than 20, if the number of travels is more than 20, pick that person. If the number of travels is more than 20, pick that person. So I'm going to put names to these people so that people can know the one. Okay, let me just put number. Let me put one. This, no, let me put name so that to be Peter, then let me pick Beanish. Who has seen GOT? Who has seen GOT here? Game of Thrones. No one has seen Game of Thrones. Why is this place always boring? People don't respond to me. Why? Kada has responded. I need people to respond, please. So if my condition is to choose those who have had more than 20 travels, Princess, who would I choose here? Those who have had more than 20 travels. Out of these two people, who am I going to choose? Princess, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please come again. Look that window.
I said, so now our outcome here is we want to know the people to choose for our free flights.
Okay.
So if our condition is we are only choosing people who have more than 20 travels, who are we going to choose?
Both of them, they have more than 20 travels.
Why? I say why?
They
Because why
both have
has
more than.
2 eggs and 1 tail and 2. I mean 2 eggs and 1 tail. This will be true, and this will be true, right? We are
Yeah.
mapping it back to what we have learned.
Correct.
So we are mapping back to what we have learned, what we just learned.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if we look at this condition, was this condition met? We are going to say if
Yes.
number of travel is more than 20. If number of travels is more than 20, then choose that person. So that means that we're going to, when we get here, we'll say, oh, this one is what? True. When we get here, what are we going to get? We are going to get true also. Let's assume that we are not using number of travels. We are using weights to choose people, because we know that the aircraft we want to use for this free flight is very small. So we want to reduce the amount of weight that we are trying to carry. So if we are going to choose people, We want to choose people that have less than 35 kg. Shakirat, who would I choose? Or who are those I would choose? And write if it is true or false under people to choose.
Okay, Peter will be false, then Billy should be true.
Thank you. Why? Because under Peter, we will ask Peter, is Peter less than 35 kg? We are going to say no. So under people to choose, Peter will be false. We're going to get to Baelish. We're going to ask Baelish, oh, Baelish, is your weight less than 35? Then you say yes now. Then we're going to write true. You can see what I'm mapping it back to now. I'm mapping it back to data sets. So, unlike this, that we are just choosing just one condition, we can actually choose two conditions. And that's where and or comes in. We can actually choose two conditions. That's where and or comes in. So if we are going to say, now we want to combine two conditions, we want to use both weights because we don't want to be biased. We're people that have small weights. But we also want to have, want to choose people that have had like good number of travels. So we have weights and we have number of travels on our data set. I want to use and. So we have now said, okay, if you have less than 40 weights, but your number of travels is more than 30, and if you have less than 40 weights and number of travels is greater than 40, let me write it here. The first condition, less than 40 weights. Then the second condition is greater than 40 number of travels. So, Tamilore, under Peter, what would I have? And we are using and now. So under Peter, what would I have? Given these two conditions. Under Peter, what would I have? Yeah?
False.
Why?
Because his weight is no greater than 40, and for and the two conditions have to be true for
Okay,
it to be true.
thank you. So the weight is not less than 40.
I saw greater than, sorry, something was blocking it. Less
Okay.
than
Oh,
40.
okay.
Oh, sorry, that's true. Sorry, something is
Alright.
blocking the, I'm sorry.
Alright.
Okay,
So,
okay, thank you. I can see it now. Less than 40 weight and greater than 40 travels. Okay, that is true. Sorry. That's
alright.
true because the two
So,
conditions for and are true.
yeah. So if we check less than 40 weights, is Peter less than 40 weights? Yes. So that's true. Number of travels, is Peter having greater than 40 travels? True. Then both has to be true. Then true. Ajayi Olubunmi, for Baelish, would it be true or false under these two conditions and between them?
Okay, good morning. It's going
Can't
to
hear
be
you.
false.
Can't hear
It's
you.
going to be false.
It will be false.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because his weight is less than 40, but his number of travels is also less, is not up to 40. So both,
Yeah.
it does not met the both conditions.
Yes. Perfect. And if it is or, the same thing goes. It's just going to be either one of the two conditions are met. I think everybody is doing well today. Thank you very much. So that's just what logical functions does. The next function that we are going to be looking at is lookup function. Lookup function. And we use the same data set, this small data set we have here. Let's assume that we have, as we have Peter and Billy, we have millions of people like that also. And what I get, so your line manager or anybody is not telling you that, okay, I just need the data point for Peter's weight and Baelish travel. I need Peter's weight and Baelish travels. Who has not spoken? Ife, I've still not heard your voice. Are you with us? So Ada, if I'm to pick Peter's weight, what would I do on this table?
Sorry, please, can you come again to your question?
If I'm going to pick Peter's weight, what would I do on this table? We want to talk about lookup function. So I know it's obvious, right? But how would you go about it if you want to pick Peter's weight? Let's assume that we have millions of people on this data set, not just two. So if you want to pick Peter's weight, what will you do?
You go to Peter's, you go to weight, then Peter, the column and the row that Peter's name is on. Then put your cursor on the weight to copy his weight.
Thank you very much. That's just it. That's just what I want to know. So I will look at Peter. I'll look for the name Peter. Then come under weights. Sorry for that. I will look for Peter, right? Then I will then come to weights and see what number is that. That's what lookup function does. Simple as it sounds. That's what lookup function does. So what lookup function does is that once you give lookup function the ID, what you tell lookup function is, okay, this is the ID that I want to look up. Then the next thing you tell lookup function is, lookup function, go to my table. So you tell lookup function that this is the table. You give lookup function the table. Then the next thing you tell lookup function is, I want to tell lookup function the index of where my variable is. So the index means that the number of columns, not the variable itself. So what lookup function will see this? It will see this guy as column 1, column 2, column 3. So what I will not tell lookup function is that the variable I am interested in, it is in column 2. So what lookup function will then do is that it will check for ID. What is ID? Peter. Okay, where's Peter? This is Peter. It will then check what is the table. Oh, this is the table. All right. What is the next thing? I want what is on column 2. So you just go to column 2, then pick that number that is there. So under this Peter now, I would have 37. That's what lookup function does. Then the last function, we're not having a function again. It's just making for basic formulas. So we have the mean, which we have used in the last class, minimum, maximum, add. Yeah.
I can't hear you well. I've been struggling to hear you since you started explaining this lookup function.
Oh, can everyone hear me?
I didn't want to interrupt the class. That's why I didn't say anything.
Is it better now?
It's kind of muffled somehow.
Muffled.
When Adana spoke, it was very clear, but your own is not so clear.
Oh, wow. It's mine. Come in. Let me stop presenting. I want to see something. Is it better now? Hello?
Maybe you should say something. Okay, yes, it's better.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So let me present again. So is it better now? Is it still better? Is it still fine?
Better.
All right. So what we are trying to look at is lookup function. And what lookup function does is that it picks the ID, you give it the table, and you give it the index of the column you are interested in. So you are the one that will look for all of this yourself. You look for the ID, you look for the table, and you look for the index of the variable you are interested in. What we want to fill here is the weight of Peter and Baelish. Mind you, it's the reason this is simple is because we have a very small data set. If we have a very big data set, this will not be easy to get. So what we are doing now is we want to fetch Peter's weight and Bailish's weight. So what I will tell Excel or any software I'm using is that, okay, what do I want? I want this ID, Peter and Baelish. Then the next thing is I tell them that, okay, this is the table where I want the data from. Then the next thing is I tell them, okay, this is the column. So the column I'm interested in is weight. If I'm interested in number of travels, I will not put 2 here. I will put 3. Because if you look at the index of ID, ID is 1, weight is 2, number of travels is 3. So that's why if I'm interested in number of travels, I will put 3 instead of 2. If I'm interested in weight, I'll put 2 instead of 3. So it's dependent on what I want to look up, what I want to get. So that's what that works, or how that works. So the next thing I want to talk about is the basic formula. So your basic formulas are just mean, median, mode, then standard deviation, mean, max, and all of those. And I explained something on the video. I said not all variables will match all analysis. If you have a categorical variable, you should not do a quantitative analysis on that. Just do a table. Once you have a categorical variable that has something like levels, just do a table. A table is enough. Just do a frequency table. Frequency table is enough. Once you have a categorical variable. And what's the categorical variable? A categorical variable is a variable that has levels. Something like gender. Gender has male, female. Something like education level. Secondary, primary, tertiary, and anything. But that's levels. So any variable that when you ask people is maybe 1 or 2 levels. But a quantitative variable is a variable that it spans the real value line, maybe 2 or 100. When you ask for that variable from people, you get that data, maybe it spans between 200 to 1,000, spans between 1 to 1 million. It's dependent on anything. So once you have a variable that spans real line, then you can use all of those mean, max, minimum, maximum, average, standard deviation, because that's your stormy statistics. But when you have a categorical variable, you use frequency table. So those are just the major things. And the last part is the pivot table, where we then learn how to move from table to pivot table to generate our tables. So please go through the videos, and by next week, we're going to revise all of those again. So by the next 1 minute, we are going to, that's 9:20, 10:20, we're going to be going on a break. Then we'll be back by 10:35 to discuss our assignment. So that's where everybody will present what's the data set they have, the questions, and all of that. So please kindly do that once we are back. So for now, we can just take a rest. I know we've spent more than the required amount, but we also have gone on break by 10. I just wanted to ensure that we get all of these pieces out before we go on a break. So let's go on a break now. We'll be back by